All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noelle Sigelski, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist here at Aligned Modern Health. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking your time out of your afternoon to come and join me today for our digital doc series. Today, you're going to be doing a cooking demo, so this should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to dive in and to teach you guys, a little more about food and nutrition here today. So Aligned Modern Health is an integrative medicine practice. And so what that means is that basically we do not treat our patients by just looking at one symptom or condition that they are presented with, but we actually treat the patient as a whole. So we dig a little deeper, and dive more into their whole medical history to find out, the root cause of what's going on with their health, so that we can take the necessary steps to help to resolve their health issues and help them feel better. What's amazing about Aligned here is that we do have a team of multiple disciplinary practitioners. So we offer things like chiropractic physical medicine, acupuncture, clinical massage therapy, and then of course our functional medicine and clinical nutrition team. So just a little bit of background about myself. Before becoming a registered dietitian, I actually got training in culinary school. So I did go to Kendall College for a couple years, and I studied cooking. I've always loved cooking. I've always loved food. It's been a huge part of my life. And so I knew that was something that I wanted to do with my career. And as I kind of continued to develop in my cooking and in my career as a personal chef and caterer, I realized that I wanted to learn more about, the foods that I'm putting in my body and how they can actually really help me overall and, make me feel better. So I decided to go back to school. I went to Dominican University where I got my undergrad in nutrition and dietetics. And then I became a registered dietitian, and now I'm here with Aligned. Some of the areas that I really love treating or working on with patients are hormonal balance, blood sugar stability, and GI health, but definitely, lots of other areas that we treat and we focus on. Those just happen to be some of my favorite areas that I like to educate and, treat patients for. So today we are going to be making a curry chicken salad. So this is one of my favorite recipes. It's a very simple, easy recipe to make. It's very versatile as well too. So we'll kind of talk through that as we go along here. Just so you all know, you will be getting, this slide with the recipe and the ingredients sent to you after your presentation today. So don't feel like you have to take a bunch of notes or write all this stuff down. Just kind of sit back and listen and enjoy here. But I have all my ingredients kind of prepped out for us, ready to go. And let's get started and we'll begin cooking our curry chicken salad here. So first we are going to start with the base or the bulk of the salad. And so right now I'm just going to cut up some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm going to dice them. I decided to use chicken as the protein choice in this meal. However, if you have certain dietary preferences or you're not a fan of chicken, there's other options that you can use for protein sources in this meal. So I actually really like using chickpeas as well in this recipe. So that's a great option. Or you can use tofu or any other plant-based substitute for your protein that you enjoy. Again, I did choose the boneless, skinless chicken breast tenders, but you could use chicken thighs as well. Or if I'm in a pinch and I don't really feel like cooking my chicken or don't have time to, I sometimes will opt out and buy a rotisserie chicken. So it's a little more convenient. It's already cooked. All I'm doing is chopping it up and having it to my salad. And then it also, gives you leftovers for other meals for the week as well too. All right, next we're going to use celery. So celery happens to be one of my favorite ingredients to add to salads. It adds nice texture and crunch, which I feel like when you are eating something, you want to make sure that you, are getting that variety of flavor profiles and textures to make your meal more interesting. Celery is also a very good anti-inflammatory food. So when we're talking about anti-inflammatory foods and nutrients, what this means is that these foods specifically have lots of different antioxidants or phytonutrients, which help to support our body's immune system and immune response and help to lower any systemic inflammation in the body. Celery specifically is great for helping to manage and improve blood pressure and also improve cholesterol levels as well too. So a great one to add to your salads or to munch on as a snack with some nut butter. That's also another way that I like to incorporate celery into my dietary routine. All right, I'm going to now we're actually going to quarter these grapes. So grapes are going to give this dish a little bit of sweetness, and it's going to really help to balance out the flavor of some of the different spices that are we adding into this dish specifically. So obviously curry is the main spice here that we're using, and I'll talk a little more about that in a few moments here. But the sweetness of the grapes helps to really balance out that like earthy spiciness of the different herbs that are in the curry powder. You can also opt out and use apples, which is another one I like to substitute sometimes in this recipe. Again, apples give it a nice sweetness and crunch. Apple season is actually coming upon us, so if you are like me and you enjoy apple picking, this would be, a great way to utilize some of the apples that you pick. You can also swap out grapes for raisins in this recipe as well too. So if I don't have grapes available, raisins tend to be kind of a staple in my household that I have on hand. So again, easy swap and less prep because you don't have to take extra a few seconds here to actually dice up your slow. We squirt it there a bit. And then the last ingredient that we're going to slice up and add here is going to be our green onion. When you're using a green onion, you do want to make sure to use the whole green onion. The bottom of the green onion, closer to where the bulb is going to be a little more kind of, not spicy, but a little more of a bite to it, like a typical red or yellow onion would be. And then once you get closer to the top where the greens are, it's going to be a lot more mild. So I typically like to use up the whole entire green onion when I'm cooking. All right, and then I'm just going to kind of toss or combined all of our ingredients in here. So again, this is the base of your salad: the chicken, grapes, celery, and the green onions. Okay, now we are going to move on to making our dressing. So I decided to use Greek yogurt in this recipe. Traditionally, a lot of chicken salads or tuna salads, egg salads will use mayo as a base. But Greek yogurt's a really great swap because it has that additional protein in there. If you cannot use Greek yogurt for specific dietary reasons, so if dairy is something that you're not consuming right now, you can always opt out for a coconut yogurt or an almond-based yogurt. Just keep in mind with any type of yogurt that you're using, you do want to make sure that you're getting a unflavored, unsweetened yogurt, so no excess added sugars or flavor. We just want the plain. So we are going to add some of our different spices and herbs here to our yogurt mixture. first one is going to be the curry powder, which is again kind of the main star here in this dish. So curry is a really unique powder. It's a blend of some different herbs and spices. So things like curcumin, turmeric, coriander, some different peppers, cinnamon, ginger. Those tend to be kind of the main different herbs and spices that make up a curry. And curry is great because it has some of those anti-inflammatory spices in there. So it has the turmeric, it has the ginger, and then also cinnamon in there as well. Next, I'm going to add some garlic powder, and then our sea salt. And then lastly, we're going to do a few little cracks of black pepper here. And interesting fact here, when you are using turmeric, you want to make sure that you use black pepper with it because it actually helps with the bioavailability of the properties of the turmeric. So what that means is basically the antioxidants and all the goodness from the turmeric are going to be absorbed better in your body if you consume it with black pepper. And I'm just giving this all a nice stir here to combine. All right, that looks good. Now we are going to move on to our lime. So I'm going to do the juice of half of a lime here. I already have this one cut, but prior to cutting it, I roll it out on my cutting board. That really helps to get the juices flowing here. And I'm also going to add a little bit of the lime zest as well too. And lime adds a great acid to your dish here. And the acid really helps to, again, balance out all those flavors of these spices, the sweetness, and it really cuts into any of the fattiness from the Greek yogurt. If you do not have lime, you can always swap out for lemon in this recipe as well. So that would be a great alternative. We give this another little mix here. And then our last ingredient is going to be some fresh cilantro. So I love using a combination of both dried herbs and fresh herbs in my meals. It's just another way to kind of add an additional boost of antioxidants to what you're cooking, and also helps to enhance the flavors. So we're just gonna chop up some of the cilantro here. And we'll add this to our yogurt mixture as well. Give it one more little stir. And then lastly, we're just gonna add the yogurt into our chicken here. And we're just gonna hold it all in there so that all those chicken pieces, celery, grapes, everything gets a nice little coating of our dressing to give it that delicious, earthy, warm, sweet flavor here. And then final ingredient is adding in our sliced almonds. Again, if for dietary preferences you cannot have nuts, you can definitely opt out of this ingredient. You can always change up the nuts per preference. So pecans would also go great in this dish. I'm sure walnuts would taste great as well. And then finally, we're just going to serve it up in our lettuce cups here. So I know the recipe does say butter lettuce leaves. I could not find the lettuce anywhere. I don't know why, but it was out at the stores by my house. So I opted out for some nice romaine leaves here. But, you know, there are lots of different ways that you can serve up this chicken salad. So you can, you know, if you're doing more of like, if you have to do more gluten-free, you can do, again, the lettuce cups, butterleaf lettuce would work just as well. Or another way is to just serve it on top of a bed of greens. So if you don't want to do it in this like little cup situation here, you definitely can just toss it on top of a green salad. If you're looking to add a little more fiber or some complex carbs into this dish, using something like a whole grain sprouted bread would be a great option. You can make a sandwich with it. Or sometimes I like to use whole grain crackers and use this as actually like a snack instead of a full meal. So I'll just scoop out a little dish of the chicken salad and then eat it with some whole grain crackers. And there we have our final product here. So I just wanted to thank you all for kind of joining me here today as we made this you know, tasty recipe together. I hope you guys try this one out at home yourselves, get creative with it, swap out some of the ingredients, have fun. Like I said, it's a really versatile dish, so that's why I do love using this recipe, because it's very easy to change up if you need to.
Noelle, thank you so much for that great presentation and for sharing one of your favorite recipes with us. We've popped up the ingredients and preparation notes here on your screen again, but again, just a reminder that these details will be included with this recording, and everybody that's registered for today will get a copy via email just a little bit later this week. So if you haven't had a chance to jot everything down, please don't worry. We will be happy to share this with you. At this time, it is our pleasure to take any questions for Noelle, again, one of our clinical nutritionists at Align Modern Health, also with a vast culinary background. Please go ahead and type any questions into the Q&A feature on Zoom, and we will be happy to address them. If you have questions that are maybe a little bit more specific to you or something that's more personalized, you are very welcome to give us a call at 773-692-6700 to request a free 15-minute consultation where you can have some one-on-one time with a provider to answer questions that perhaps you don't want to ask in front of a group. We also do offer complimentary benefits checks if you're curious what your insurance covers. Here at Align Modern Health, we do accept most major insurance providers for our various services. And if that's something that you'd like to investigate, you're welcome to visit us at alignmodernhealth.com to make that request as well. We do have a question here from the audience. Noelle, can you talk again a little bit about the different lettuces that you would use and maybe your thoughts on something like a darker, leafier green versus iceberg or romaine from a nutrition value standpoint?
Definitely. So, you know, I personally like using more of like the butterleaf lettuce or the romaine from like a structural standpoint. So it tends to, at least if you're using it as like a cup situation here, it holds the salad in there a little easier, and then it has a really nice crunch to it. But if you're doing more of like a salad, let's say, so a bed of greens, really choosing some more of your darker leafy greens, those are going to be really high in calcium. So that's going to be, you know, a great addition to health. They are going to also be really supportive of your liver and helping with liver detoxification. So some other really nice dark leafy greens could be things like kale, arugula. You can even do like mixed spring lettuce. And then another great one that I just thought of that's kind of similar to like the cups of using endive leaves. Actually, that's a bit more bitter, or radicchio, which is also a bit more bitter, but those would also be other great options as a little vehicle for serving your salad.
Amazing, thank you.
You're welcome.
If there are any other questions, please feel free to type them into the Q&A feature on Zoom now. We're happy to address them for just a few more moments. If there are no other questions, again, we thank you so much. Oh, here's a great one. If somebody wanted to use something like bok choy, is that something that would serve a recipe like this, or maybe something that needs to be cooked?
No, so you can, bok choy, typically it is something that's a little more, like, and you could for sure replace the celery with bok choy. That could be a great option actually. Necessarily to like serve it in the bok choy. I don't really know if that would be the best option. But you can for sure use even something like cabbage if you wanted to, any really type of, lettuce or green would be a great option to again swap out in this recipe.
Great, thank you so much. I do think that brings all of the questions to an end here. If there are any last questions, you are welcome to type them in. Let's see, here's a question. Noelle, you talked about some substitutions for chicken. You had mentioned chickpeas or a plant-based protein like tofu. If somebody wanted to use tuna, what are your thoughts on that?
Tuna is a great protein option. If I'm being honest, I've never tried this recipe with tuna, so I don't really know how it would pair really well with the curry flavor. But you could definitely kind of change up the recipe a bit, and instead of using like curry spices, you could do tuna, the Greek yogurt. You could still do the celery, grapes, green onions, but maybe I would change the spice profile up a little bit and do something like some like Italian herbs or seasonings. Lemon pepper would be a great option. But you definitely could try it out with tuna. If I'm just being honest, I don't know how curry and fish goes together. But if you try it out, please let me know because I'd be interested to know myself.
Wonderful. And that's a great point you bring up about the different flavor profiles and balancing flavors together and what ingredients pair really well together. We actually did a digital doc webinar on balancing flavors when cooking at home that is available for on-demand viewing for anybody that is interested in flavors and flavor profiles working together. You can find that on our alignedmodernhealth.com website. If you go to our webinars page on there, there is a library of all past digital docs. So if that is something that piqued your interest when Noelle was talking about the different flavor profiles and balancing flavors and what works well together, that might be worth a look. Speaking of digital doc webinars, our next one is coming up in 2 weeks, and that will be on workstation ergonomics and office stretching to mitigate the risks of sitting all day at work, or even if you have a standing desk. Some really great tips and tricks to help you get through the workday without risk of injury over the period of time. So please feel free to register at alignedmodernhealth.com for that one. Noelle, I'd love to thank you for joining us today, for making this amazing healthy summer recipe for us. Thank you for sharing your time and your talents. And thank you to all of you out there that have joined us live, and those of you that are watching on demand as well. We appreciate your time, and we hope you found it interesting. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Cheers.